Welcome to CigarTIME TV, your ever so friendly show all about smoking premium cigars. We're lucky, we're joined by a lot of wonderful people today. In case you're wondering, we're the before picture for Weight Watchers.
We're the offensive line of the Chicago Bears.
Okay, how'd they do this year?
Look at us.
Can't say that word on TV.
Oh, pretty poopy.
That'll be bleeped out, don't
Okay.
worry about it. We're joined by our managing partner in Florida, George Sosa, our partner in Florida, Craig Cohen, and we have a civilian on the panel
Our
today.
special guest.
A special guest. Matt shot one of our shows last week, and he's back with us. Matt Camp, give you
Hello.
a little applause there.
Thank you.
That was a very weak set of applause there, but you know, we always like, and we never do it when we shoot these shows in the north, which is where we shoot 99% of them. But here in Florida, we thought a different touch would be getting one of our customers, and a good customer that has turned into a dear friend of our stores down here. His name is Matt Camp. I said
Thank
it
you.
right. I got
Yep.
it right. Matt
Yep.
Camp. And gives a different perspective. Those of us who are in the business or investors in the business, you know, we see cigars differently. The people that actually smoke the cigars beside us, you know, really make the decisions for us, as I think I spoke about on one of our shows recently. Today we're going to be smoking the AJ Fernandez New World Connecticut. We're smoking in a Toro format. This company goes back with AJ at the beginning. When he first went into business of producing cigars many years ago, we were an original account. Actually, at the time, it wasn't even called AJ Fernandez. It was called C-Press, believe it or not. What the C-Press stood for, other than a thing that smashes the molds into place. I probably didn't say that very eloquently, but that's exactly what it does. And we've been with him ever since, many years. We're very proud of our association with him. It's a great two-way street, and I look forward to seeing him when I attend shows, and he's a good guy, good guy. So without further ado, shall we light up our New Worlds?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Because by now, typically, another member of the Pennsylvania panel, Paul, would be chomping at the bit and dying to be able to light up his cigar. We want to get into this right away. Just want to remind any of you that might be coming down to the Southwest Florida area anytime soon, please stop by. We have currently 2 stores in Sarasota. We're looking to add additional stores, and hopefully we will very shortly. Your points are good down here. Your memberships are good down here.
We welcome you down here.
Yeah, with open arms. Our one store that has beer and wine in it is open. Well, the store is not open 24 hours, but the lounge is open 24 hours to members. Your discounts, your points from our point system, which a lot of you accumulate a lot of points, are good down here. The people running the stores down here are top-notch, first-rate people. That's George's operation. You know, whenever I think of the operation down here, the words esprit de corps always go through my mind, and it's very good. We have knowledgeable people in the stores.
Very.
Both the full-time management and the part-timers, they know their stuff. So you're welcome in Sarasota. And again, this time of year, not a terrible place to be. Okay, so any initial comments on the first draw or two? I know we're just barely touching the cigar, but your thoughts?
A little peppery at the foot.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. Yep.
Yeah, a little pepper on the foot.
Yep.
Makes it tasty to start.
Just a really nice straw, beautiful wrapper.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Little
well-made
sheet for the
cigar.
wrapper.
Very well made.
It's a good medium body cigar, yeah.
Boy, it does draw beautifully.
Yeah.
Yep.
This cigar retails in the 7s, and considering the retail prices of good cigars nowadays,
That's reasonable.
that's a very good bargain.
Very reasonable.
By the time you see this, the prices are all going up around this time of year, and so it might be a few pennies more, but at time of shooting, which isn't very much before you actually see it, it was in the 70s. Matt, as a civilian member of the panel, so to speak, or I should say a consumer, what do you look for in a cigar? I know you buy a lot of them, and you buy varied cigars
Yeah,
too.
I'm all over the board when it comes out. I'm 60s. I smoke the Robustos. I've smoked all of them, and I look for the oiliness of the cigar. How oily is it? Because that has a lot to do with the taste as well. And obviously, I like the Maduro ones, the San Andreas wrapper, but this New World one, I've smoked quite a few of these, and these things it's just a good smoke for the price. And I'm like I said, I'm all over the board when it comes to purchasing cigars.
There are a lot of Connecticut's out there. Connecticut still is probably the #1 shade cigar. You can spend a lot more money on a Connecticut, lots more money on a Connecticut, and in my opinion, not have as good a cigar as this one.
Well, most of the Connecticut's tend to be more onto the mild side. This is a tastier Connecticut too.
I go for taste.
Yeah, this is
is
a Connecticut that will give you some taste for your money.
Yep, it's a good morning cigar with a coffee, I would say.
Yeah.
It's a good starter.
That's, Matt mentions oil. When you buy the quantities of cigars that you do, every once in a while, some box, just isn't put in the right place. You may have a box of X that's behind a bunch of Ys. And when you finally sell the Ys, that X box is behind there. And you know what it was, but it was amazing to me in my travels how many retailers would see the cigar and the oils would turn into bloom. And they were just beautiful cigar, and the plume was on it.
Yep.
And they say, you got to take these cigars back. They have mold.
Oh, jeez.
And I say, gladly.
Oh, no.
I give them a brand new box of cigars and keep those for myself.
Yeah,
And that's what oil turns into, as Matt was saying. You don't see it as much now because everything's gone to barcoding.
Yeah, turnover,
so everyone
yeah.
starts looking for that box that's missing. And it's a beautiful thing, especially as it ages. It's nice to find a cigar that the oils have turned into plume and just beautiful smokes.
I have a funny story about that I've told, probably not recently, but years ago. When I was a kid, 16, 17, 18 years old, and I used to buy what was left of, because you were allowed to sell Cuban cigars after the embargo till the tobacconists ran out. And there was a very large cigar wholesaler right in central Philadelphia called Yana McDonald, right at 15th and Chestnut Street. They occupied a whole corner. They were both a tobacco wholesaler and a retailer. They had a beautiful retail store, as I remembered. And even back then, I knew what plume was. And I would go in, and I would go through, and in those days, they were mostly Cuban and not so much not so much Dominican, but a lot of Nicaraguan and Honduran cigars back then.
Canary Island.
Canary Islands, that's correct.
Yep.
Montecruz, yep. And I would go through the open boxes of cigars, and of course, again, back then, cigars weren't celloed. Most cigars were nude. And I would go through the cigar boxes looking for plume. And I'd try to find like a young clerk who may not have known better. And I'd say, look, these cigars have mold all over them. I mean, I could probably smoke around them. Can I get a big discount on these cigars? And about half the time I got away with it. And I got the cigar. And of course, back in those days, the cigars were 40, 50, 80 cents. They weren't real expensive. Well, I would get away, but sometimes an old timer would walk by and kind of see what I was doing and know better. he chastised the young clerk and say, no. And of course, I was just a kid then too. I didn't know. I thought they were damaged.
Which brings up another point. You hit I didn't even consider that. Now that you mentioned all the cellophaning, I mean,
Yeah.
you never see cigars cellophane in the old days.
No.
And
Nope.
the other thing is, when I was on the other side of the house as a road warrior, and you travel around the country, every so often, you come across a treasure trove. One day I'm in Monterey, California.
Nice part
Beautiful,
of the world.
yeah. Beautiful cigar shop's been there forever. They got pictures of Bing Crosby coming in for his pipe tobacco. And the guy, I was just impressed with the store. There was nothing about the store that really was impressive except, first, it's a Monterey and a memorabilia from all the people that had homes down there. And then I remember the old type shops in the Northeast. They'd have cabinets with
Yeah.
boxes, not cigar boxes, just dividers, because you have to get as much product as you can in a limited space. And I was telling a guy, I haven't seen that since I was a kid in New York. He goes, you got some really rare stuff. And he goes, you haven't seen anything. All of a sudden I noticed he goes and he stares at the floor and there's a trap door. And he opens the wooden floor and he puts on the light. He goes, be careful going down. You talk about the mother lode. This guy was sitting on Miami La Gloria Cubanas, El Rico Habano.
Oh my God.
Remember we were talking
Yeah.
about the
Oh,
Aliados?
yep.
This guy, and I said, can I buy some? He goes, hell, you can have them if you want. No. He didn't even have the invoices for this. This was like 10 years ago. So he goes, just give me what you think. Now you're in a rough spot. Tell me what it's fair. Anything you buy something and someone tells you, give me what you want,
You're screwed.
you're going to overpay because you don't want to take.
No.
So I gave the guy what I thought they were worth. And boy, did I hit a treasure trove. I haven't seen one since. But this guy, it was like a museum. So you see that every once in a while.
Yeah. I remember years ago, we did a deal with a very major cigar company. And we bought about 25 or 26,000 cigars. I'd be embarrassed to say the price, it was so inexpensive. But they had cigars with the original label, Spanish Honduras. The Villazon, the old Villazon cigar.
Wow.
And they were
Yeah.
big format. I mean, each cigar, they were monster double Coronas. I mean, and we bought them all. We bought them all. They gave us a really spectacular deal. But a lot of those boxes, even though they were celloed and everything, a lot of those boxes had a lot of plume. Once we opened the box, there was a lot of, yellowed cello.
Yellow cello is a
Yeah.
key.
Yellow
Yeah.
cello.
Those are keepers.
If you go probably an older store where the turnover may not be as great, but if you can find cigars that have yellow cello, smoke those suckers right away because they're oxidizing. That's the best taste you're gonna get in a cigar when you see that, or the plume. And sometimes you get both. The plume is inside a celloed cigar, but
Very rare.
yeah, it's rare, and especially nowadays when cigars turn over quicker, so they're not necessarily lying around. But there's
Next time you go over the house, I still have about 10 left.
oh,
I got these añejos,
oh,
Lonsdale, that are yellow celloed, and they're just a power bomb.
I'll bet, especially the Añejo, yeah, which is a hell of a cigar to start out with. But this is really, I'm in about 75 cents right now.
Yeah.
Maybe not quite, maybe 65 cents. And this is a good cigar.
Mellows down nicely.
Yeah.
After the initial,
Smooth.
after
Yeah.
the initial
The
pepper.
spice kind of disappeared.
Right, and it mellows down. And it's
Look
just
at
a
the
nice,
burn on
flavorful
this.
cigar. Perfect burn.
Perfect
Yeah, I
burn.
agree. Absolutely perfect.
Got the
burn.
nice dirty ash,
Yep.
which is what you want in a
Yes.
cigar, because of the sulfur content and what am I trying to say? The ground, the earth causes this, the soil causes this, and that's why when you get a real Cuban cigar, this is pretty much what the ash looks like, the dirty gray ash.
Yes.
Amazing. AJ, or you've seen it too. I mean, what was it, 15, 20 years ago? I don't even remember when he first burst on the scene. I know we were there with him, but he came like Don Pepin, came out of literally nowhere. And now, how many fields do you think this man owns?
He's grown very big. I mean,
Wow.
he's related to the Plasencia family, and he started when he came from Cuba. He was with Coronado and Nestor,
Very tasty.
and then he went out on his own. And I tell you, another guy who works his butt off. He's either in the fields Next time you look, I see him in Europe. I mean, he's all over the place. So, and a key testament is why are these companies going to him to make their blends? I mean, you got some of the largest cigar companies. I mean, Altadas has the biggest factory,
La Romana.
and they go to AJ for certain flavors.
And he produces, those are good cigars,
Yep.
what AJ makes for, what he develops for Altadas.
Yep.
And this whole corroboration thing, this is relatively new.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody made cigars for other people, but they didn't brag about it.
Right.
And Plasencia, probably the world's largest. But now they corroborate or collaborate with AJ, and they're proud of it. They put his name on the boxes. I mean,
Well, there's a reason for
this
that.
didn't exist 20 years ago.
But there's a reason for that, because they put out a quality product.
Yes.
And they're proud of
Yeah.
having his name
I'll
on that.
tell you a funny story. One of the TAAs about 10 years ago, if anyone knows the TAA, Cigars is a member of TAA.
Yep.
There's 70 of the top accounts across the country. We get TAA exclusives. It's a great group of retailers that belong to a great organization. So every night you're invited to a dinner, and this particular night it was an Altadas dinner. And of course there's a lot of learning, a lot of workshops, a lot of buying, and a lot of drinking.
Yes.
And I had done more than my fair share of drinking around the pool. And I went home, took a little bit of a nap.
Oh, good. You're not telling my story.
No,
Good.
no.
Leave that alone.
I take this before you were in the group.
Yeah, yeah.
So I go back to my room, I take a nap like I normally do, and I know, I got like my phone's ready to wake me up. I speak Spanish fluently, call the front desk for a backup. I had like that's how many sheets to the wind, let's say I was. So I go to the party and I'm sitting there, and they had a PowerPoint. This was an Altadas dinner. They had a PowerPoint, a screens all over the dinner floor with pictures of tobacco rollers and this. And I see Nestor Plasencia on a screen, and right away I get up. I thought I was at the wrong party, And it was Nestor was starting to make cigars, or Nestor was starting to make cigars for Altadas, and they had him. I go, holy smokes! I never thought I'd see Nestor's picture, although he's the largest private grower in Central America, but he was making cigars for a lot of people, and I think that's the first time I saw a major player advertising
Admitted.
that they were
Yeah,
making
admitted.
cigars and the company was pushing it. And I said, wow, this is a turning point. I think there are things that you've seen in your time that, wow, there's a turning point in the industry.
Yeah.
That's when we were talking about the Partagas 150 being another.
Yeah.
This cigar was relatively expensive for the time it was introduced. It was limited. Their slogan was, once they're gone forever. But holy crap, it's like 20 years later, and I guess there's still boxes floating around.
We
or
have 'em.
cigars. Yeah, you have them.
Yeah.
But, we thought, this is crazy. Who's going to pay that much? And then, lo and behold, Opus and all the other super premiums have come out. But I think that was the first. I can't think of anything before then. Padron came out with the box press anniversaries.
Yep.
Relatively expensive at that time frame.
For Padron, yeah.
And a box press, which went against everything that was being done at the time.
Yeah.
Later on, Nick came out with a box press and and you can talk about the box press. I mean, how it came about in Cuba was an accident. And now we're purposely box pressing cigars.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The amazing thing is, getting back to collaborations, the amazing thing is, if you'd have told me 25 years ago that cigars would cost $25 to $35 a piece, I'd have said you got rock salt for brains. I mean, it just was unheard of. I mean, even adjusting for inflation. I mean,
25 now is not that big a deal. There's
Oh.
$45 and $50
I know.
cigars out there.
Everybody talks about sweet spots. When I got into this business, the sweet spot was $3 to $5. Above $5, under $3 maybe the quality, but $3 to $5 was the sweet spot. What's the sweet spot today? 10 to 12 and going up?
Yes.
But yes, cigars still represent. I know this is going to sound a little off the wall, I always equated a premium cigar, believe it or not, to a milkshake.
It's a guilty pleasure.
It's a guilty pleasure, but it's not so guilty because it's a stress reliever. A milkshake just makes you more rotund. See how I got away with that
Too
one?
many milkshakes for me.
Yeah. So, but think about it. You spend, what's a milkshake cost nowadays?
$7, $8, something like
well,
that.
I was
Yeah.
going to say 6, 7. So
$6,
we're-
$7.
That's
So
about-
you spend
that's
$6 or
fair.
$7 for a milkshake. You drink it down in 15, 20 minutes.
And it's gone.
Otherwise, you'll get a headache if you drink it too fast, right? And it's gone. You gained weight. You have guilty feeling. Why did I do that? I gained 5 pounds. Blah 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 blah.
Or conversely, you have the guilty feeling of why didn't I get 2?
Yeah. Well, I know that.
Exactly.
You know that one.
Yeah. I know that one all too well.
But,
yeah.
but if you smoke a cigar and you're amongst friends, you're having your libation or whatever, it's a stress reliever. And a cigar costs you about the same as a milkshake, maybe a tad more nowadays. It lasts a lot longer. You don't get a headache from the freezer burn. And rarely are you drinking a milkshake except surrounded by maybe one immediate friend or family if you're sitting with your children or your significant other or whatever. But when you really think about it, everybody makes the argument, oh, smoking, blah, blah, blah. I wouldn't advocate cigarettes or anything like that. But a premium cigar is really a device that relaxes you, takes your stress away after a long, hard day, none of which we ever have being in the business. It's all just,
Well, think
Bunch
about
of
how many
jiggles.
times this week alone we've heard
yeah.
people say some of the best friendships they've ever developed have been in a cigar store.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, you start
Good
talking, I mean, I once did an event in California, I'll never forget this as long as I live. And I'm looking in a lounge and I see a guy who's a judge, a prosecutor, a cop, and a Hell's Angels in his jacket. They were all nice guys. I mean,
Yeah.
the Hell's Angel, I wouldn't want to pee him off, but he was a nice guy, and they all knew each other from the shop, and they go out to do whatever they do in their life. But when they go in, we have surgeons, lawyers,
Yep.
we have blue collar workers, we got retirees, and this is their.
Politicians.
Well, we do have standards, but yes, we have. But yeah, I mean, everyone comes in and, no race, no politics, we're all friends. It's a great thing to be a part of, and that's what I love about the industry. Case in point, 2 guys can be smoking a cigarette. No one walks up to them and say, what is that, a Marlboro? But when you smoke a cigar, people
He
say,
wants to know.
hey, what is that you're smoking? It smells great, or, it's incredible. I've been on the beach smoking my cigar, and I see people downwind. I go, here we go. They set up, and the guy walks up, and I think, oh, I'm going to have to go full commando on this guy. And he said, wow, that smells great. I wish I would have brought mine. Here, give him a cigar.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, guy's bringing his beer over, and nothing like it, folks. Nothing like it.
Well, I like when Mike and I came down a month ago. Your clientele here didn't know Mike and I from a hill of beans. Well, yet from the first moment we walked in the store, of course they know you and Kim and Mark and I need to remind you to make Mark's delivery so he doesn't. At any rate, that's a local joke. From the first moment we set foot in the store, everybody seemed to go out of their way to make us feel welcome. And kibitz and laugh, smoke cigars, everybody's having a good time.
We'll have
I mean, everybody's having a good time.
have it on Sundays.
Yeah.
Come in, we watch football
Exactly.
together.
There's a
Guys
father
root
and
for
son.
whatever they want.
Yeah.
The father's about my age, or the son is about my age, his father,
It's my age.
and no, I think he's older.
You talking
And
about
they-
Bill?
Yeah, no,
No, Bill, I think there's a year difference between, I forgot which way.
no,
it
no,
goes.
no, no,
Oh.
not them. The guys that sit up front, the
Oh, the
Eagles
Eagles.
fans.
The Eagles
the Eagles
fans.
Yeah.
fans.
Go
They
Eagles.
come in every Sunday to watch the Eagles games, and they both sit in the same chairs.
Yeah.
We don't like to have reserved seating, but for this guy, we have reserved
Yeah.
seating. They sit at the front of the store, smoke their cigars, and watch the game. And I envy them. I wish I had my dad to watch the game with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, it's almost time to review the cigars. Our rating system goes from basically 0 to 10. Most of the cigars we smoke on this show are generally between 8.5, 8.75, and 9.50, just to give you some perspective, because this is the first one you're doing.
Yes.
And we forgot to tell you this before the show. So give your final comment. We'll start with Matt, put him right on the hot seat. You know, like to see him sweat a little bit. So talk about what you found in the cigar and then put a number on it.
I would say this is a really good cigar, really smooth cigar. Started a little spicy, but it's smoothed out a lot. I would say I'm going to go a 9.5
Well,
for Connecticut.
that's very good.
It's very good. It's got a little bit of the oiliness on it.
Yes.
You know, it's just a really smooth cigar, a good breakfast cigar, first thing in the morning.
Yeah, that's
It's a good starter cigar.
Yes, it is.
George.
I give it a solid 8. I think it's a great cigar, great price point. I just think it's I haven't smoked one in a while, and I'm going to get some for my humidor because I'd highly recommend it.
You feel 8's a good score, huh?
Yeah, I think it's very good.
Okay. Great.
This is a beautiful cigar, very well made. Ash burns nice and even. I said, as Arthur said, the nice gray ash, well made, very tasty. Like I said, it starts out a little peppery, then it smooths out. A very good breakfast cigar. I'm going to give this about an 8.5.
Wow. You Floridians are tough.
We're a tough crowd. down here.
Brutal.
We're a tough crowd. We are a tough crowd
God.
down here.
The sun beats our brains all year long.
I
That's
guess.
what it is.
I guess.
Semi-fried, yes.
As for me, this is right up my wheelhouse. Not too mild, not too strong, great taste. And as you have watched the show for years, know I go all about taste. Price is important too, and this brings both. This cigar's in the 7s, and it's just, to me, a wonderful bargain, a great taste. I want to remind everybody, if you find in your travels that you're in Southwest Florida, in the Sarasota area, please stop by, bring your own cigars, come in and buy cigars. We don't care. Just come in, use our facilities, have a great time. If you're members of our lounges up north, your memberships are good down here. The one store with beer and wine has a 24-hour lounge. Your points are also redeemable down here for the rewards program. It's everything good, and you have nice weather to boot. So we want to thank you for watching.
Leave some comments on the comment section.
Yeah, leave some comments on the comment section. And till we see you next week, we want to thank you again. Without you, we're nothing. Bye-bye.